What is going on, Dodger fans? Hope everyone's having a lovely evening because your Los Angeles Dodgers currently are not. They just fell to the Colorado Rockies 8-3 final score. They've now lost two of the three games against the Colorado Rockies, a series where the Dodgers maybe could have taken all four games because if you look at these pitching matchups, they were cupcake matchups for the Dodgers. And my goodness, diving into tonight's game, this could go down as the worst loss matchup wise in Dodgers Friedman era history. I mean, how do you get shut down by Tanner Gordon when you have this monster of a lineup and he completely kept the Dodgers in check? They couldn't do any damage against him. Eventually, they got three meaningless runs as the game progressed, but the Rockies were singling us to death. They absolutely shelled Ohtani tonight. I don't know if they had a game plan or they just got lucky, but whatever the Rockies did tonight certainly worked out because they did drop 8 runs. 5 runs came against Shohei Ohtani, who just did not have good command tonight. Whether you want to attribute that to pitching in Coors Field or his second start in a row where he's just looked kind of shaky out there. He got roughed up against the Angels, a bad team, and then he got roughed up tonight against the Colorado Rockies, arguably the worst team in all of Major League Baseball. I don't know what has happened to the Dodgers. It looked like they were about to go on a hot run. They had swept the San Diego Padres. It seemed like we were building momentum, and then they come to Coors Field, and they've been just flat 2 out of these 3 games. Now, they did go off in this middle game so far of the 4-game series. They absolutely just demolished Tuesday evening, but you had a really, really soft matchup in Tanner Gordon, and they didn't show up tonight. So I am completely stunned. I'm sure most Dodger fans are stunned out there. Appreciate everyone tuning in to the Klein Dodgers podcast presented by TickPick and Fansided. I want to get your guys' reactions. Hit that like button if you got questions for me. I am running solo tonight. Jake Reiner is flooding the streets of London. He probably doesn't even know what happened tonight. I tried to get some other backups. No one was available, and probably a good night for nobody to participate because this game was just absolute trash. I mean, the Dodgers should have swept the Rockies or at least taken 3 of 4, and now we're on a prayer right now, hoping we can split the 4-game series with Kershaw going in an afternoon game tomorrow. So hopefully the Dodgers can at least salvage this series somewhat. But once again, the San Diego Padres are breathing down our necks. We had a 2-game lead exiting that Padres series, and now we find ourselves in a position where most likely the Dodgers lead in the NL West will go back to just 1 game, meaning that this series upcoming with San Diego yet again will have very high stakes, but this time the Dodgers are going to Petco Park, so the Padres will have some home field advantage on their side, so those games aren't going to come easy. Am I scared of the Padres? Not really. Am I scared of the Dodgers? Absolutely, because I feel like the biggest enemy right now, the biggest thing that is preventing the Dodgers from just running away with this division is honestly the Dodgers because they are just not executing with basic fundamentals. They had some errors tonight. Teoscar Hernandez had some atrocious fielding that we'll get into a little bit later. The base running has been inconsistent. There are times where Teoscar Hernandez probably should have legged out a double, and for whatever reason, he decides to keep it with a single and stand at first base. We've seen Andy Paz make some blunders. We've seen Shohei Ohtani make some blunders. So I don't know what's going on with this Dodgers team. They just have not looked completely locked in this season. At the end of the day, they still have a very respectable record. So I'm not going to go out there and act like they're some bad team. I mean, they're 72-55. So they're in the running right now for a top seed. They're a couple games back of the Philadelphia Phillies, who've been on a little bit of a winning streak. So the Dodgers got to get their shit together, or they're going to find themselves in a wild card game. And we have not seen the Dodgers play the new format of the wild card round yet. This has been implemented for, I think, 3 or 4 seasons now. Historically, the Dodgers have always had a bye, and in 2024, they took advantage of the bye and obviously won the World Series. So I would not want the Dodgers to play a wild card round this season, even if they were to advance, I feel like in 2021 when the Dodgers and Cardinals played a wild card round, that ultimately came back to bite them because the Dodgers collectively as a unit ran out of gas in the NLCS because of Max Scherzer having to make that extra start. And I just see a scenario yet again if the Dodgers have to throw a Yamamoto and a Snell or a Glasnow in the wild card round. I just think that'll come back to bite them in the bullpen, and they'll be out of gas as well against potentially a team that's more rested, whether it's the Phillies or the Brewers. I think there is still an advantage at the end of the day of getting that bye. So the Dodgers need to really snap out of this funk. They've been one of the worst teams in baseball since pretty much the 4th of July. I mean, they're 15 or 16 games below 500, and they just don't seem to put together consistent winning streaks. They had 3 in a row against the Padres, but other than that, it's like a win here, a loss there, a win here, a loss there, dropping a bunch of series, getting swept by the Angels. It's just very frustrating. I don't know what else to say. So drop some questions, drop your frustrations. Happy to answer any questions. We'll make this an interactive show. So Dodgers tonight, they should have won this game. I mean, Tanner Gordon is taking the mound for the Rockies. And for reference, Tanner Gordon coming into tonight had a 7.98 ERA. That is correct. A 7.98 ERA. He doesn't really strike hitters out. As a pitcher, he has 38 innings thrown coming into this game with just 24 strikeouts, a 1.8 whip. The guy gives up a ton, and I mean a ton of hits. He's given up 60 hits and 38 innings. Can you even comprehend how many hits that is? 60 hits and 38 innings, and the Dodgers got shut out by him tonight. The Dodgers only mustered together, let's see, I know there was just a few hits. 4 hits against Tanner Gordon. Ultimately, they did get 1 run off him, so I will correct myself. But through 5 innings, they had no runs off him. And then they got 6 in the 6th inning. They did get 1 run off him. I don't care at the end of the day. I don't give a damn. You do not allow a guy like Tanner Gordon to throw a quality start against you. This is bigger than David Goliath in terms of upsets. This is a way, way bigger upset than David and Goliath. I mean, the Dodgers coming into this game were like a minus 300, free money. You would have been stupid to bet on the Dodgers to win this game because you're going to get absolutely no profit. So anybody that bet on the Rockies tonight, you're sleeping well. You made bank because this is just a monstrosity of an upset. I thought this was for sure the lock of the century, that the Dodgers would probably drop anywhere between 8 to 12 runs tonight, and they only mustered 1 run against Tanner Gordon. And then Miguel Rojas got a few Mickey Mouse, Chris Paul draining a 3 down 35 points in the 9th inning or whatever. So I don't give a crap about that. They played like shit. Once again, they were awful with runners in scoring position, 1 for 5. I am done with Buddy Kennedy. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers. How have we resorted to a guy named Buddy, first of all, and to put it all together because he's a person, obviously, Buddy Kennedy. I've never heard of this guy until the Dodgers picked him off waivers. I mean, he makes Sheldon Noisy look like Jose Canseco. The guy is hitting 080 this season. He's 2 for 25. He's got a 268 OPS. I mean, DJ LeMahieu is a free agent, and you go with Buddy Kennedy? Are you kidding me? Like, what kind of crack is Andrew Friedman on right now? You have so many talented players out there on the open market. You've got guys within the system, and you want to just allow Buddy Kennedy to leapfrog all these dudes? The guy has never done anything in his major league career, and he's yet to do anything for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I honestly just don't understand what we're doing here. They would be better off having pitchers hit. And I'm talking about pitchers not named Shohei Ohtani over a guy like Buddy Kennedy. Like, what the hell are we doing here? This is just a disgrace. You had Kevin Biggio a year ago who couldn't do shit, and they wanted to one-up themselves by getting Buddy Kennedy in the lineup. Like, the only Buddy we should be saying is, Buddy, you need to be DFA'd today because this guy is trash. And I don't mean to really be this mean to him, but we're the Dodgers. We're a World Series champion. We're going for back-to-back titles, and we're wasting our time with a guy like Buddy Kennedy. What are we doing here? Ugh. So thankfully, the Dodgers have reinforcements. Kike Hernandez just got into the rehab action, so he could be back in the Dodgers lineup maybe in less than a week from now. And by all accounts, it sounds like they're going to potentially make Kike Hernandez a regular, if not every day, in center field. And so, I mean, we can put two and two together. It probably means Teoscar Hernandez potentially then goes to left field, and you move Andy Pages to right field. The Michael Conforto experiment, which has just been a Frankenstein of a disaster, needs to end because Michael Conforto continues to not produce for the Dodgers, and yet they continue to roll him out of the lineup. So you've got Michael Conforto automatic out. Clearly, Alex Freeland is not ready for the show. I mean, he's taking 93-mile-per-hour fastballs down the middle. And I would say that this isn't Alex Freeland being bad. This is more in the camp that Alex Freeland might just not be ready. I mean, he wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire in AAA either, because Oklahoma City and nearby ballparks where their opponents play, it's a notorious hitter-friendly environment. It's like hitting in Coors Field, essentially, with some of that elevation to be in your favor. And it's not like Alex Freeland had a 900 OPS in AAA. He was flirting with the high 700s to low 800s the majority of his AAA tenure. Got a little hot near the end, but he didn't have a lot of pop. And right now at the big league level, we've got 50 at-bats from Alex Freeland. The 317 on-base percentage, I commend that. It means he's working walks. He's got a good eye, but he only has a 180 batting average. He's got a 517 OPS and 0 home runs. So clearly the timeline is starting to run short on Alex Freeland. When Hae-Sung Kim comes back, because he's going to rehab soon, when Kike Hernandez comes back, and then hopefully Tommy Edman is back in early September, naturally you can expect to see Buddy Kennedy gone, Alex Freeland demoted, and then maybe Justin Dean's the other guy that they demote. And then you get your regulars back in the lineup. But it's really hard to be optimistic with this lineup right now because about a third of it is a near automatic out. When you've got Michael Conforto, Buddy Kennedy, and Alex Freeland, and maybe even Miguel Rojas or Dalton Rushing all in one lineup, we're flirting with like all-time bad of this decade, of the 2020s. Like near the bottom of the barrel, all-time bad. Those are a lot of bad bats right now. And it's coming back to bite the Dodgers because they're just not getting that offensive production. We're not seeing a lot of runs scored on the board consistently. They have their good nights here and there. Like Alex Call went off Tuesday evening, had a home run, his first Dodgers home run, hit the farthest home run that a Dodger has recorded this season. I believe it was about 453 feet or so. Had some extra base hits, went 4 for 5. And then what do we see today? Alex Call's on the bench. I mean, what are we doing here? You've got a guy that went off in Alex Call yesterday, and how do you reward him? He rides the bench today. Absolutely lovely. I know that's one of Jake's most favorite things is when a player has a baller out day and just completely tears the cover off the ball and then finds himself not in the starting lineup the next day. What a way to build confidence. What a way to build momentum. Just amazing work right there. And you get Michael Conforto in the lineup instead, and he didn't do anything today, as usual, because Michael Conforto is just the worst established position player I think the Dodgers have signed of the 2020s. Like, you can challenge me in terms of like expectations and the money granted out and the role that they have given him. I don't think anyone has failed more in a Dodgers uniform than our good friend Michael Conforto. So what a privilege. I mean, unfortunately now when I'm going to think back to the 2025 season, it's going to be a lot of bad memories about Michael Conforto. So focusing back on tonight. So offense flat on their face, no show. They were Casper the Friendly Ghost. They didn't show up tonight. They completely phoned it in. They gave a half-assed performance. They didn't even really work the count at times. It's not like they were making Gordon break a sweat out there. And on the flip side, I mean, the Rockies just completely attacked Shohei Ohtani. Some of it I felt like was just kind of bad luck and BABIP and all that. But at the same time, it just didn't seem like a lot of Otani's breaking pitches were breaking. He was relying a lot on the fastball, and at times it was hovering over the heart of the plate. And a number of Rockies were just able to get a hold of that. I mean, Brendan Doyle doubled off him. Warming Bernabal had a nice day. He got an RBI double. Orlando Arcia was getting base hits. The Tyler Freeman, he was getting on base. Just not our night. We had an awful showing offensively, and the pitching, mostly Ohtani, was not looking good either. And these last two games have definitely hurt Ohtani's stats. He went from me viewing him as probably our number 2 to he's probably now the number 3 or the number 4. Because I mean, he's got a 4.61 ERA, he's got a 1.28 WHIP, and just based off these last two outings, like I don't feel confident with Ohtani being our game 2 starter. Blake Snell has certainly outpitched him right now, and I think Tyler Glasnow is making a case too. So maybe the Dodgers, and my thinking was just I got too excited with seeing Ohtani just light up in those 2 to 3 inning outings, because now that he's a little more stretched out, clearly it hasn't been pretty his last 2 outings. So let's hope Ohtani can kind of turn the page here and put together some good outings as a true starter. We got a question from Elise. Did we really lose a series versus Colorado? Not yet. We got hope. We can split this series tomorrow. So we didn't lose this series just yet, but who would have thought on a game 4, the Dodgers right now find themselves in a position where they have to win tomorrow to essentially avoid humiliation. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Drop questions in the chat. More than happy to answer any questions you guys have here on the Incline Dodgers podcast. Defense has been really frustrating, whether you want to put that air on Conforto or Miguel Rojas. They got to do better as a whole. The corner outfielders have just been such a weakness for the Dodgers this season. And it's not like it's something that they can put a Band-Aid on. Like, these defensive blunders have actually lost the Dodgers games. And I mean, we can start with Conforto, who's actually been the better of the two. What reason is there to justify Conforto in the starting lineup at this point? His batting run value is a -10. That's right. Michael Conforto's batting run value is a -10. He's in the 8th percentile. And I'm pretty sure of all qualified hitters, he's like bottom 3 in value right now, whether it's WAR or weighted runs created plus. He has just been really bad in pretty much every offensive category other than walks. He seems to be good at drawing walks, which I don't really know how that factors, but he's got a 298 on base, which is actually lower than I thought. I thought he was in the 300s, but now he has a 298 on base percentage. Fielding run value, -6. Range, the outs above average, -5. He's in the bottom 8 percentile. He's also very slow, so he can't run the bases. He can't hit. He can't field. He has no personality. So it's not even like Hanser Alberto a few years ago, where Alberto was complete shit on the field, but at least he had a personality. We don't even have that. We don't even have that from Michael Conforto. The guy is just a blob out there. He is so blank-faced. Like, he brings nothing to this team. And hate is a strong word, but I just strongly dislike Michael Conforto as a player on this team, because he does nothing of value. And because they're so locked in on keeping Michael Conforto in left field, they've forced the hand now to put Teoscar Hernandez in right field. And at least with Michael Conforto defensively, you don't really feel it. Like there is some bad defense, but you can't really point to any essential moments where like that play is why we lost the game. Like Conforto doesn't really have any of those. Teoscar Hernandez, on the other hand, he's got like 5 or 6 of those. And we could go back in time and review some of these clips where we go more in depth on some of those Teoscar Hernandez blunders. But we have the luxury of going back to Monday night, where here we are in the bottom of the 9th inning. I believe it's a 3-3 game. Ezekiel Tovar bloops what is a 99.6% catch probability, a 99.6 catch probability. And somehow Teoscar Hernandez is not able to get the glove on the ball, and it results in a double, and ultimately Warming Bernabal walks it off. Because this is the story with Teoscar Hernandez. He has been the ultimate liability in right field this season. And I know that the metrics said he was awful in left field last season, but I dare anyone, give me some moments where you felt like Teoscar Hernandez lost us some games with the defense last season. I don't think you can point to any of them. Whether the Dodgers offense was just able to make up for it consistently, or it was a timing thing and we just didn't notice it because the timing of Teoscar Hernandez's bad defense last season didn't really come up in the box score. I don't know. I feel like it's a complete fallacy to think that left field and right field are comparable in terms of defensive difficulty. The way I look at it is if you can't handle left field, there's no chance in hell you're going to be able to play a good right field. So I just don't understand the Dodgers' logic here. I mean, think about all the good defensive outfielders. How many of them are in left field? Not that many, because you'll find the good corner outfielders in right field. Can you imagine Mookie Betts in left field? Could you imagine Mike Trout in his prime in left field? Could you imagine Ichiro Suzuki in his prime in left field? Could you imagine Fernando Tatis Jr. in left field? No, because you put your best corner outfielder in right field for a number of reasons. One reason is just statistically speaking, more balls are hit in the direction to right field because of the amount of left-handed bats, as well as just the tendencies of opposite hits or contact in the direction towards right field. Number 2, the ball's cut differently. It's just for whatever reason, it's easier to read a ball cutting towards the left as a corner outfielder than it is to reading a ball cutting towards the right if you're in right field. So I don't understand what the Dodgers are doing here. I mean, we would have moved Teoscar to left field 2 months ago. We would have told Michael Conforto to kick rocks, and we would have had Andy Pages in right field, because as much as it makes sense to put Mookie Betts in right field, clearly the Dodgers are not going to do it. And that brings me to my next point. What is with the Dodgers media the other day trying to bully this LA Times reporter for just reporting that the Dodgers had a meeting? Or let me rephrase that. Dave Roberts, Andrew Friedman, and Mookie Betts had a meeting immediately after the game where they lost with Teoscar Hernandez's blunders in right field. The guy did nothing wrong in terms of reporting. And then you've got the usual suspects who fall into the propaganda trap, and they try to throw this LA Times report. I think his name's Kevin Baxter. He normally covers the Galaxy and MLS, maybe LAFC. They throw him under the bus. Probably more of like a brotherhood fraternity cult thing, as opposed to this guy getting his facts incorrect, because this seemed like major damage control by these other reporters, because they all immediately started posting on their social media accounts and writing articles saying that, yeah, they had a meeting, but no, they did not talk about right field at all. I call complete bullshit on that. There is no chance in hell that after that kind of loss, Mookie Betts isn't just going into that office, handing them sprinkles cupcakes and saying, yeah, let's talk about my swing. Isn't it working out? No. Whether it's Dave Roberts who brought it up, or Andrew Freeman brought up. They definitely talked about the contingency plan, and not saying it's going to happen, but there is a percent chance that you, Mookie Betts, might have to be moved back to right field. We're not going to do it in Colorado. We're not going to do it in a week or so. But if we find ourselves in a tight divisional race with maybe 2 weeks left and we're a game back or we're a game up, you might have to play right field, Mookie Betts, because Teoscar Hernandez has just been such a huge liability out there. We cannot afford to drop any more games, literally. So I think that's where we stand on that. I just don't understand how people think that just because you can play, just because you're a bad left fielder, all of a sudden you can play right field makes absolutely no sense. So this was one of the Dodgers' biggest blunders, I feel like, of this season. You got a really good right fielder playing shortstop. You've got a really good right fielder as well playing center field and Andy Paez. And then you've got 2 corner outfielders who are just trash defensively. I mean, this is the same organization that used to pride themselves on defense. If you couldn't play good defense, you weren't on the major league team. That's exactly what they did to Michael Busch. They said, you can't play second base, Michael Busch, so you're not going to have a role with this team. But Teoscar Hernandez can't play right field, but apparently he can have a role on this team. Ryan Ward, they say he can't play left field, but Michael Conforto can't hit. So what is going on here? Like there's just a lot of inconsistencies right now in the Dodgers' logic, and I'm just not following. So I want to make sure I get to anyone's questions. So drop some questions in the chat for me. Drop some frustration as well. Make sure it's noticeable. I'll definitely give you guys some shout out. Happy to make this interactive. So as I mentioned earlier, flying solo. So all the questions or comments will definitely make this easier on myself, but there's plenty to talk about. So we talked about the Dodgers need some changes. You got to get rid of Buddy Kennedy, who's playing more like Bunny Kennedy, if we're being honest. I think Alex Freeland needs a demotion if he doesn't start to get it together soon. I mean, you've got these cupcake matchups in Coors Field, and he's not even doing damage here, so that's disappointing. And Michael Conforto just not doing anything as well in Colorado. The bullpen has actually been a lot better for the Dodgers recently, so I feel like we've actually got some stability in that department for once, and it's only going to get better. Tanner Scott has been throwing rehab outings. He could be activated in time for this upcoming Padres series. He dotted 98 and was just really in the zone with his pitches the other night. Kirby Yates, he continues to work his way back as well. He continues to try to just get back that splitter that was so effective for him the previous year. So I think that's one thing to keep an eye on for Kirby Yates is getting that splitter command back. And then Michael Kopech, he just really hasn't had a season this year. So I think the Dodgers are being more patient with him. Essentially, he's in spring training mode right now. So you give him another few outings, and then hopefully you get another electric arm. So the Dodgers sent down Alexis Diaz. No surprise. We saw Gervais get called up. He looked okay. I don't expect Gervais to really have much of a role for this Dodgers team, but obviously they needed a fresh arm. So that's what you saw in tonight's game. Anthony Bonda, wanted to give him a shout out. He has just really turned it on in the second half. He's actually been one of our best relievers, if you can believe it or not, just kind of based off how slow out of the gate he was in the first half. There were times where it almost looked like Anthony Bonda may have gotten DFA'd with how poor he was pitching, but he has really just turned it around. In the second half, Anthony Bonda has a 1.29 ERA. He's got a 2.47 FIP. He's got 17 strikeouts in 14 innings thrown, a 107 WHIP, 216 batting average against. And I like this stat. 96% of the batters that he faces that are or base runners that are on base, 96% success rate, meaning he is stranding those guys. So if he comes in with inherited runners, they're not scoring. So Anthony Bonda has been doing a really good job for the Dodgers. Jack Dreyer, he's been really good as well. I know he got a little roughed up tonight, but his Coors Field. Ben Kasparius is starting to put together some consistent and good outings as well. So hopefully he is getting it turned around. So the Dodgers bullpen definitely looking better. Edgardo Henriquez, he's had a couple quality outings recently as well. He threw the hardest pitch in Dodgers franchise history, 103.3 miles per hour. So love that. Let's see what else we've got here going in the chat. So let's see. Johnny Owen, embarrassing. Absolutely. It was embarrassing. Grizz Monster 73. Call Betts Pajes all right fielders. I don't understand the issue. And I don't understand the issue that Dave in the front office can't solve. Alex Call as well. He's a positive impact player in right field. He's got a +3 outs above average, and they don't want to play him in right field either for some reason. Craig Osterberg, thanks Craig for always tuning in. Why was Call on the bench when he had 4 hits? Complete brain fart. These are things that just make no sense to me. You want to get a guy like Alex Call, who was struggling up until yesterday's game in a Dodgers uniform, and then he just lights the world on fire. I know it was against Austin Gomberg, who's just horrible. He got put on waivers today. That's how bad Austin Gomberg has been. So thankfully the Dodgers got to one trash pitcher. But again, disappointing they couldn't get to Tanner Gordon tonight. So it makes no sense that Alex Call was on the bench. I mean, he raised his OPS to like over 800 as a Dodger. His WRC plus was like in the 130s. And then what does Alex Call get rewarded with today? El Bencho. Dodgers Z. Showtime fans. Dodgers team at this point is a over winning 80s teams and a wild card team. Norio N. What are your thoughts on Tanner Scott? I think you mean Tanner Scott. You said Tanner, but we'll go with Tanner Scott. And hopefully not Tanner Gordon. I believe that Tanner Scott is going to come back and he's going to be a huge weapon out of the Dodgers bullpen. My one hesitation is I wouldn't make Tanner Scott the closer right out of the gate. I think you got to keep it with closer by committee for now. Let's see some consistent and hopefully some clean outings from Tanner Scott. But he's got about a month and some change left to get this going. So I think that's plenty of time. He's gotten some time off as well, so he should be pretty fresh. This is where you show us, Tanner Scott, that you are worth that $72 million contract. So I believe I'm still high on Tanner Scott. This was who I wanted, and I think Tanner Scott's going to show us why the Dodgers wanted him as well. This is a relief arm that they have been targeting for a year and a half, 2 years now. They tried to pull off a trade for him at the deadline a year ago. Obviously, the Padres overpaid, and then they saw him walk over to Los Angeles. I believe, like Book of Mormon, I believe. Question coming from Rokadi. Thank you so much. Postseason lineup. Ohtani leadoff, Betts second, Freddie Freeman third, Will Smith fourth, Max Muncy fifth, Teoscar Hernandez sixth, Tommy Edmonds seventh, Kike Hernandez eighth, and Andy Pajes. You get a cookie because I think you nailed it. I think this is exactly what we're going to see in the postseason. So what does that mean for Kike Hernandez? We better hope and pray that he shows up and he's October Kike Hernandez once again, and not regular season Kike Hernandez, because I think the Dodgers, they're pulling this wild card out of their dirty card tricks, and they're now banking on the fact that they need Kike Hernandez healthy. They need Kike Hernandez to have a better season than he's currently had so far in 2025 for the Dodgers. I mean, he's hitting 195 with a 626 OPS this year. If that was who we were rolling out, if this was some random player, I would be like, dear God, what are we doing? But because Kike Hernandez has the track record, has a lot of postseason success. I'm willing to go back to the well at least one more time. This is potentially Kike Hernandez's last year in a Dodgers uniform. You got to pull out all the card tricks. You got to pull one more Hail Mary out there. And I think in October, whether it's second base or center field, Kike Hernandez will be in the starting lineup and Michael Conforto will not be. So looks like that's all the questions we have for now, but definitely give me some more questions or comments. Hit that like button. Whew. So I don't know what else to say about this series. I mean, I did want to point out a cool moment for Eric Karros. Of course, he played for the Dodgers for a number of years and is currently a Dodgers broadcaster. His son, Kyle Karros, hit his first major league home run, and Eric Karros got to be in attendance. So I thought that was pretty cool. So good for the Karros family. We got Jared Karros. We've got Jared Karros in our system. I know he hasn't pitched much this year, but yeah, cool moment, I guess, for Kyle Karros. Hopefully Max Muncy comes back healthy soon. I feel like this is another reason that the Dodgers offense has just been wildly inconsistent is with Max Muncy not being in the lineup. I mean, who knows what he would have done tonight against Tanner Gordon. Feels like a great matchup for Max Muncy to take that guy deep. So a lot of inconsistencies, very frustrating. Let's talk about the Padres series real quick. So we've got Kershaw go tomorrow, and then the Dodgers begin another 3-game set against the San Diego Padres. Blake Snell against Yu Darvish. Last time the Dodgers faced Yu Darvish, they got 4 runs off him very early. So would like to see a repeat of that. Tyler Glasnow against Nestor Cortez. You best believe I'm going to put Freddie Freeman in a parlay to get an extra base hit. That is a narrative I'm going all in on. Nestor Cortez has just been flat out bad for every team he's pitched for this season. He got lit up against the New York Yankees in a Brewers uniform. He barely pitched for them. They shipped him over to the Padres. He hasn't been good so far for San Diego. Nestor Cortez was the starting pitcher in a game in late March where the Yankees had like 9 home runs, which set a franchise record. And I think the Yankees tied that the other day where they had 9 home runs yet again. So we got to get to Nestor Cortez. And then Yoshinobu Yamamoto against Nick Pivetta. The Dodgers got to Nick Pivetta earlier in the year. I feel like Nick Pivetta is the type of pitcher that the Dodgers can just tee off on. So last week I called a Dodgers 2-3. Two of the 3. I picked the Dodgers to win 2 of the 3. I had them winning the last 2 of the series. I was wrong. The Dodgers ultimately swept the Padres, so I'll take that. I think the Dodgers can win this series yet again. They really kept Manny Machado in check. I found that super impressive. Machado was like a non-factor the entire series. Overall, they kept Fernando Tatis Jr. in check as well. I don't think he had any home runs. Ramon Laureano, that was the one bat that really did have a good series against them. So they got to make the adjustments there. The bullpen was not as locked down as you would have expected from San Diego. Mookie Betts had his big moment a few games ago where he took Robert Suarez deep when the Dodgers and Padres got tied up. I think it was 4-4 at that point in the 9th inning or in the bottom of the 8th inning, whatever it was. Yeah, bottom of the 8th inning. Mookie Betts took a big swing off Robert Suarez and it landed for a home run. We've got another question from Rocade. Rocade. Does Roki Sasaki come back this year? Today, 3.1 innings. He threw 95 to 98 on his four-seam fastball. Also was able to get a slider and splitter in there. So the first outing for Roki Sasaki was a disaster. He did not pitch well at all. He gave up 3 runs in 2 innings or something, and the velocity was really low. It was like 91 to 93 miles per hour. tonight. It seems like he did do better, but he still gave up 2 runs in 3.1 innings, only 2 strikeouts. Realistically speaking, I think Sasaki, you got to just X him out. Like this is just not his year. Like the Roki Sasaki probably should not be pitching for the Dodgers in the postseason in any capacity. He probably shouldn't even pitch at the big league level at this point, based off where the Dodgers are in the standings, either in any capacity, because Sasaki is more of a liability than an asset right now. He just, for whatever reason, has not been able to put together a respectable season at all. The velocity was way down. The command was not there. He didn't really put together good outings. He struggled at times with the command. He just did not live up to the hype. That's the reality. They gave him a press conference. They gave him a bobblehead. They were selling his jersey like crazy. And in year one, he flat out failed. The one benefit for the Dodgers is he's on like a uber rookie contract, so they're not paying him much, and he's under team control for certainly a few more years. So they got time to get this guy built into the pitcher that we were expecting him to be. Well, I think I vented enough. So last call for questions. I'll go off the rails for a minute here and just throw out some random takes. So I just want to throw it out there, and feel free to disagree or disagree with, or feel free to disagree or agree with me, I should say. Let's talk shows for a second. Apple TV Plus, I'm giving them first place. Apple TV Plus has had the best shows this year, in my opinion, between Severance and The Studio and Platonic. They're knocking it out of the park. So Apple TV Plus, you might be losing Major League Baseball, but you've been crushing it with your TV content this year. So good job. I'm not even the biggest Seth Rogen fan, but if you haven't watched Platonic yet and you have Apple TV Plus, highly recommend. It is just laugh out loud funny, and I'm not really a guy that laughs out loud, but yeah, they got me there. Christopher Yusak Yamamoto has been a microwaved frozen burrito. Inconsistent. Christopher, first of all, do you even know how to use a microwave? Because why are your burritos inconsistent? If anything, read the package, and you should be able to heat up your burrito every time out correctly once you get the hang of it, if you're using the same burrito. But I don't agree with your take that Yamamoto has been inconsistent. He's got a 2.90 ERA this season. What makes that inconsistent? Every starter, unless they're going to win the Cy Young, is going to have their hiccups here and there. Yamamoto was awful against the Angels. He was awful against the Brewers. But for the vast majority of his starts, you don't have a 2.90 ERA across 24 starts unless you've been having a remarkable season. And Yamamoto has certainly been a well-deserved all-star. He's not going to win the Cy Young, but he might finish top 5 because he's been on the mound the entire year. So I don't really agree. I think Yamamoto has been perfectly consistent. I mean, how many other Dodger starters are going to have a 2.90 ERA right now? I mean, he's been good. Call me _Astro. In a perfect world where Edman, Kim, and Hernandez all come back, who starts and where do they play? Kim is on the bench. That's just the unfortunate reality. The Dodgers signed Kim to be a bench player, and he's going to be on the bench. The Dodgers also need a spark on the bench. They need a guy who can come into the game late and be a spark off the bench. So I think Kim's on the bench. Because of the ankle injuries, I have some hesitation that they're going to throw Tommy Edman in the outfield. So that means Tommy Edman will probably be at second base. And then Kike Hernandez, I mean, just talked about it a few minutes ago. Kike Hernandez will be in center field, Paz and right, Teoscar and left. You just have to make that change. Like if we're starting Conforto in playoff series, and this is the Conforto we're going to get, I'm picking the other team to probably win a best of 5. To be honest, like you cannot have Michael Conforto in the lineup. Dodger Blue coming here from X asking us, is it true Quan Clase deal was done? Obviously, the gambling thing changed the plan. Was the deal done? No, I have not heard confirmation. I did not hear anyone ever say that the deal was done. But from what I gathered and from people I checked in with, the Clase deal with Quan was going to be the Dodgers move. Now, whether they could pull it off or not, that would be the big question. But once Clase got popped for gambling and throwing his first pitch prop balls or whatever, the entire deal just unraveled. And the Dodgers weren't going to be able to meet the Guardians' asking price for Stephen Kwan alone. So the deal wasn't done, but the deal was certainly what the Dodgers were trying to get done. From Mom Rocade, thoughts on Ryan Ward in left field? We've talked about it enough. I don't think the Dodgers are going to do it. So, unfortunately, the dream is dead. Ryan Ward will probably never play a game for the Dodgers. They're going to trade him in the offseason for some random prospect, and then he'll go play for the Royals or the Athletics. He'll go hit like 200 with 5 home runs, and then he'll probably get DFA'd and then sent to KBO because that's just seems to be what happens, unfortunately, for these old Dodgers players that get stuck in the minors. I mean, he's like 27 now, so not much more development probably needed at this point. He is who he is. So I think I covered just about everything that I was anticipating covering tonight. The Dodgers drop another game to the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies improve to 37-90, and the Dodgers fall to 72-55. Appreciate everyone tuning in to the Incline Dodgers podcast. If you're listening on the podcast audio feed, hopefully you found this wildly entertaining, as the Dodgers have been causing me a lot of frustrations as of late. And if you're watching on the YouTube chat, hit that notification button so you don't miss these live streams, and hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching post live feed, drop a comment and leave us your thoughts on this Dodgers recent upset to the Colorado Rockies. All right, everyone. We'll be back when the Dodgers and Padres battle it off yet again. So enjoy the next few days and go Dodgers.